You know, like, sometimes, sometimes things just are the way they are, and we can whine about it, we can lament it, or we can persevere, we can survive.
What human beings do, we survive. And we survive and we overcome. Yeah. We survive. We survive and... Okay.
I never thought I would have to do this or feel inclined to do this. At least on mass scale, I never thought I would have to do this, that I would feel compelled to need to do this. But, the internet, has been kind of concerning me these past few months, maybe longer, and I think this needs to be done. I have to now sit down, type out a script, record my voice into a microphone. This is my mic. Edit a video and upload. I have to do this. I have to do all this to explain what an opinion is. I have to explain the difference between subjective and objective. And I generally just have to talk about the current state of the internet because it is fucking wild out there. So yeah, this is partly inspired by the thing I made a bunch of impromptu low quality videos on me talking / ranting about a situation where a very respectable video essay guy, YouTuber Arlo, made a totally normal subjective thought piece video, and he was crucified on Twitter, online in general, because he didn't like a movie that I guess most of the people who watched the video liked. Now, most of what I'm going to say here is going to be a lot of what I already said in those other videos, but the reason I'm making this specifically is this problem extends to way more than just one little Arlo video. This is basically the default state of internet discourse right now. This is what I'm just forced to accept in 99% of my own dialogues with other people online. This is what has become, not only common, but popular and publicly encouraged. It has become acceptable to not know the difference between what an opinion and a fact is. It has become acceptable to view the entire world through an objective lens. So yeah, I'm making this video just so that it exists. I want this video to exist by itself in a single time capsule, whatever, so I can have something that I can just tell people to watch when I'm too tired and too annoyed to have to explain to every random person on the internet what an opinion is. To start with, a lot of people probably think they know the difference between opinion and fact, but they still fall into thought patterns involving them treating opinions like fact here and there. On some level, most people feel that some of their opinions simply have to be facts. Take an extreme example, okay? Let's talk about moral relativism and moral objectivism, philosophical concepts. Of course, there are different perspectives on ethics philosophy, but to really understand if something is moral or not, you really need to dig deep into the foundations of why something is moral or immoral. In most people in society generally accept that, say, stealing is wrong, morally incorrect. But this is still a matter of subjective moral relativism, even though 99.9% of people in a population agree with this. It is still an opinion. It is still subjective. There isn't a mathematical formula to tell you that stealing is immoral under our subjective guidelines. So this sort of thing that feels like a fact, that most people would treat it as a fact, is technically based in subjectivity and arbitration. Now, if you are a moral objectivist, this might look a little different, but moral objectivists have to have very clearly defined sets of rules and logic, or else it is not objective. It's still just impulses and feelings, and what people are used to, you know? When it comes to talking about your opinions on media, most people are not objectivists. In fact, some people online especially claim to be objectivists, but they're not. They simply... They just still, like anyone else, they use entirely subjective arguments because they don't know what the fuck objectivism is, what it means. The most prominent example of this would be Mahler and other people like Gamertron Show or whoever else who follow Mahler's example. Now, every argument has elements of ethos, pathos, and logos. You know, you should have been taught this in probably like middle school, right? Ethos appeals are appeals to authority. If you get someone who has solid credentials, a proven expert in something, to agree with you on that subject, you can respect the authority of the person. The expert probably knows more than you, so you acknowledge their opinion holds more weight. Although, in our current culture, and especially online, ethos matters less and less to people. I probably have a shitload more educational and professional experience with argumentative writing and artistic media analysis than 99% of just random shitlords online, but it's not like me saying that, or me even giving my credentials and educational and work history would make people believe it or even really care about it. So I don't mention it because I also don't really care. A logos argument is regarding logic. Now, I know the word logic basically means nothing at this point in the internet because the internet is all about just saying whatever you think and then calling it logic. But in reality, the rules of logical arguments are also very clearly defined by historical precedent. The structures of logic are defined in philosophical writings, and the, what am I thinking of? What's the fucking word I'm thinking of? The fallacies of logic are also very clearly defined. And pathos. Pathos is an appeal to emotion, to humanity, to make someone feel inclined to agree with you. This isn't limited to just like making puppy dog eyes at people. This impacts anything like the tone in a way that makes people more inclined to agree with you. You know, take like just a random like current example. You know, a jury is more likely to find like Johnny Depp more relatable and likable because he's a funny guy who makes them laugh on the stand, right? That's an appeal to ethos, you know? Like he feels more natural. Just make it an argument with a lot of humor can psychologically make your case feel more at ease. So people are more inclined to listen to what you have to say. These are all appeals to pathos. We also have to understand what a debate is. Very specific word, debate. This is also something most people don't seem to understand. A debate is not like a random squabble between two assholes online, or like an ongoing social issue that people talk about. A debate, in a classic sense, in its very clearly defined, it is a clearly defined competition. A debate is when two or more people engage in the same topic in a closed environment with clearly defined rules and regulations with a third party professionally trained judge or judges who will make a ruling as to the quality of the arguments given to each party in order to decide a winner on the subject. A debate does not determine which of the two opinions is correct. A debate is not some people whining back and forth online. A debate is a competition with judges and rules and a chosen victor by a clearly set competition. It's no different than a fucking, like, tennis, like any sport. If you make some arguments against someone else, but you don't have a professionally trained judge to mediate the argument, to make sure the debate is fair and equal and decide the quality of the arguments and decide a winner, then you did not win a debate. You just said words, and maybe your audience, right, if you have like a following online, maybe your audience told you that you were right and that the other person was wrong. Your audience is not a trained judge. These are not fair and even conditions with clear rules. You did not win a debate. You just told yourself that you were right after bickering with some random person. Like I said, most people are not objectivists, even if they claim to be. If you're just a normal person that makes arguments to ethos, pathos, and logos, you are like any other person online writing arguments. An objectivist needs clearly defined rules to base 100% all of their ideas off of. For instance, a moral objectivist, Immanuel Kant. I talk about him a lot because I like him. He invented a very interesting way of looking at logical scenarios. He created extremely clear laws for what makes something moral or immoral, with no ambiguity. It isn't like a situation where he's like, oh, I think that this is immoral, or, oh, my parents told me that this is bad, so I'll use that to decide my whole life and think of it as a fact, even though it's obviously still an opinion. No. Kantianism dictates that all actions, you have to really step back to the most fundamental philosophical viewpoint. Kant dictates that all actions must be taken assuming that all humans should simultaneously take that said action. According to Kant, the moral foundations of humanity must be to preserve the human race and to preserve human truth, the ability to separate truth from fiction, and the ability for what you perceive to be considered true and thus have meaning to it. These rules are ironclad and dictate everything. Suicide is immoral in Kantianism because, by following these laws, if everyone in the human race were to commit suicide at the same time, the human race would be wiped out, thus violating one of the core laws. This is what objectivism is. You really stop, examine the bare-bone fucking essence of something like humanity or ethics or existence, and you create rules to preserve what you consider most fundamental. And then all of the other more specific littler laws that fan out follow out of those initial ideas. You cannot call yourself an objectivist if you just make an argument with like some logical claims and then you say that because your argument has some logic in it, it must be objectively true. Of course, the original laws themselves are subjective ideas, but everything that follows is objective, assuming these subjective ideas are true. If we're to take a more extreme philosophical approach, you can't really be objective about hardly anything. It's all colored by your perception. You aren't really seeing that baseball over there. You're not really seeing it. Your eyes are reacting to the light reflecting off of an object and sending signals to your brain. Or maybe not. You can't even assume that. Maybe you're hallucinating. Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. The only thing you can objectively say is that you have a mind, because something has to be generating the thoughts that you are experiencing and generating the sensory perceptions your brain believes that you have. If someone looks at the color green and says it's green, is that objective? What about colorblind people? What if everyone sees the same colors slightly differently from each other? Most people, for them to be functioning members of society, they just have to accept that the majority of what they experience through their five senses is real. So most people treat these things as objective, but obviously they don't necessarily have to be. In reality, everything you perceive is subjective. So it's probably a better idea to go through life assuming that the things that you think and feel are subjective rather than objective. In most cases, objectivity can only be born through subjectivity, even something like math. Let's say the symbols 1 + 1 = 2 is only objective once we assume the subjective meaning of those symbols. Someone arbitrarily decided that this symbol should represent the concept of one, of a singular entity, so on and so forth, creating the rules on which math operates. If you were decoding an encrypted message, 1 + 1 might no longer equal 2, because they changed the rules. So yeah, anyone who says that their opinion is objective is operating on a subjective rule set. So ask them what the rule set is, and if they cannot provide you with a step-by-step clearly defined rule set like a mathematician can for explaining how math works, if they don't have a clear rule set that can only result in the exact statement they made for their supposedly objective statement, then they are not an objectivist. They're just some dumb asshole. So no one knows what objectivism is. No one knows what a debate is. No one knows what the fucking opinion is, since hardly anyone is actually an objectivists. Only self-proclaimed objectivists whose objectivism is basically just them voicing their opinion like everyone else, but they use the word objective a lot to assuage their insecurities about people disagreeing with them. So we can ignore that and talk about just subjectivism for the sake of simplicity. Now, I said that people don't know what a debate is, and this is important because of internet culture. This is how the cycle goes. Tons of people believe that their opinions are facts. They think they are objectivists when they actually aren't, so they tell other people that their opinions are objectively true. Why would they do this? What is the reason? Let's break it down. Maybe because they saw other people do it, so they're following their example. Like they know that other people online consider their opinions to be facts, so they feel the need to double down on their own opinions as well. They're like, okay, well, if you're going to say your opinion is a fact, I have to say that my opinion is a fact. Maybe it's simply an ego thing, where they feel the need to tell other people that their opinions are facts because they feel insecure about their own opinions and they need to validate it. Maybe they honestly believe that the world would be better in some way if everyone was forced to believe their opinion as a fact. Sometimes this might actually be true, subjectively speaking, of course. I'm sure we've all felt that way about, like, let's say, like flat earthers or anti-vaxxers or such. And no, I'm not saying that the earth being flat is subjective, but flat earthers operate under an assumption that everything they've ever been taught is a lie and like a scheme by the government or whatever. And as dumb as that is, it is technically a subjective view of the world. It is a subjective theory. It has many logical issues, but it is a subjective theory. So, for whatever reason, people feel the need to present their subjective opinions as objective. Then, this has a horrible influence on the culture over time. Now, fucking everyone just kind of assumes that this is the way things should be done. They watch these bullshit debate channels, quote-unquote, where it's just some guy spouting logical fallacies that would not hold up under a real official judge in a real official debate. And their audience, who doesn't know how to identify those fallacies, praises them for how smart they are in this fucking obnoxious, filthy circle jerk of unchecked ego. And then the audiences of these shitty channels go around trying to replicate that behavior, using their own made-up arguments and their own logical fallacies. But since they have a community and they all tell themselves that they're winning, quote-unquote, these non-existent competitions, these non-existent debates, they continue to get psychologically rewarded for doing so, especially given how social media functions and how it psychologically rewards people. More and more, people have become enraptured into this mindset, into speaking objectively all the fucking time. So why is this bad for discourse? Why is this bad for culture as a whole? Well, there are a few things that have become increasingly common in recent times that are, like, just the worst shit ever, man. First, and most important, I think, everyone not only thinks of their opinions as facts on some level, or like they need to be facts, but they also just assume that everyone else on the internet just is also operating in objective language. Okay, if I make a video that is just like almost like a podcast with no real purpose, if it's just literally just me talking about shit with no aim, if I say anything about anything, people will come into my content and assume that I'm trying to state that my opinion is a fact. They will assume that I'm trying to make an objective statement. They will assume that I'm trying to tell other people the definitive answer to what is good and what is bad, and so on. I swear to God, media literacy I don't think has ever been this low. I can't remember the last time someone disagreed with me online where I got to argue with a different perspective. Instead, all I get is swarms and swathes of dumbasses that just very openly didn't understand a word I said, didn't understand anything about what my intentions were. People think I'm trying to say something I'm not. People think I'm trying to make some grandstand on some objective point. People are so used to only dealing with idiots that they assume everyone else is an idiot, won't communicate with them, and now they are idiots themselves. People are like totally incapable of hearing someone say words that form an opinion and just like accepting it, understanding it, talking with them about it, asking questions if they don't understand something, right? Like, dear God, I would love if people asked questions when they didn't understand something instead of making weird, outlandish assumptions. But like I said, this has strangely become, like, socially acceptable to do. Like, we all know all this shit, right? All of us we've been on the internet, right? We all know this kind of interaction, this bad faith interaction where the other person isn't even trying to listen, isn't even trying to understand. We all hate it. We all know that. And yet so many people are becoming ignorant of when they rely on this bad faith themselves. When they hear something or see something, they just make a baseless assumption and then come up with a bunch of nonsense counter-arguments no one asked for in a debate that doesn't exist, fighting a straw man argument point drawn out of nowhere. That's how you get these situations like with Arlo, a totally normal guy, a totally respectful guy, a guy that has 100% respectful opinions where he is very clear. It's just his own personal feelings. He doesn't want to tell other people how to feel. He doesn't want to tell other people what is good or bad. And people are just losing their shit. They misconstrue and misunderstand all of his points because they assume he needs to be making an objective statement if he's on the internet. Or they're like really fucking weird and they assume that he just needs to exist in a hive mind. Like, there are genuinely some people that are like, even if you keep all of your opinions to yourself, if you don't share my opinion, you are just wrong. Which is absurd, but... So, yeah, then you have Twitter fucking up in a storm, full of out-of-context clips presented as though Arlo is trying to attack this movie and everyone who liked it and everyone who worked on it, when it's very clearly just like a rambly, kind of podcasty, just him talking about his feelings on a movie he saw, and nothing more. People assume tons of shit from nothing. They assume what other people should be doing with their content, with their work. Like, oh, you're talking about this movie? You must be writing an objective take not based in your own personal bias, even though that's not a thing. That's literally impossible. If you're writing a review, it is your own personal bias. It is an opinion. And you must have, like, a number score, and it must serve, like, this purpose to bump up the Metacritic or whatever the goal supposedly is, and also go fuck yourself. You know, like, people don't engage with writing just to have a communication, like, real communication. It's the most baffling thing. Like, writing is communication. That's why it exists. But they assume a piece of writing is just made to just fit in line with whatever is the most popular take. And that's the only point of reviews now. It just has to generically explain the exact same things everyone already believes. It just has to be part of the echo chamber. People are so quick to try to make caveats for the fact that opinions are subjective. People say things like, oh, I accept that everyone, I do accept that everyone has their own opinion, and opinions are things, but if their reasoning behind their opinion is bad, then it's invalid. But a reason being good or bad is another opinion. That's an opinion. People don't need a reason to have an opinion. It's subjective. If you like something, I don't, and I keep saying, oh, but how do you like it? Why do you like it? I can invalidate anything you say. Like, if you describe something to me and I just say, like, oh, how is this supposed to be good? Well, what's the big deal? Or something to that effect, then nothing matters. It's all opinions. If someone likes a video game and I tell them, oh, but when you play the game, you're not, like, fulfilling your base needs as a human being. You're not feeding yourself. It doesn't quench your thirst. What do you accomplish by playing a fucking video game? Or something to that effect. I can just negate all of your opinions, just a purely subjective worldview. Another aspect of this is that people can have an opinion without understanding why they have the opinion. Someone can, say, watch a movie, really dislike it. They really did not have a good time watching it. But then they won't be able to explain why they hated it. No person can 100% exactly and accurately describe why they feel their feelings with complete accuracy. That would imply that they could just tell you the exact chemical makeup of their entire brain, down to the last fucking neuron. Just because someone has dumb arguments for why they think they have an opinion doesn't mean that their opinion is invalid. They still felt the way that they feel, for some reason or another, And none of this matters. People can like and dislike what they want on their own terms. They consume entertainment however the fuck they please. If someone hates a video game because it has a character named Alan, and they hate characters named Alan, that is more than enough reason for them to just have whatever opinion they want. Opinions do not need justifications. You can't just fucking talk about something with an open mind on the internet. People just lunge and misunderstand and make shit up, make up brand new rules out of their ass for why it's wrong for you to talk about your own opinions and how you feel about something. Now, I watch videos, and the people in them have to go it's really funny, these days. People at the start of the videos, they have to clarify. They're like, whoa now, I know this is gonna sound crazy, bro, but what you're gonna hear in this video is my opinion, and I do honestly believe that other people can have different opinions. Holy shit, what a hero, what a martyr. This is where we're at, where everyone feels the need to clarify that they have a basic understanding of what an opinion is, because so many people just don't. Like, what do you lose by talking about something? Genuinely, what do you lose? What do you gain by being so confrontational about an opinion and trying to, quote-unquote, disprove everything you see? No one cares. No one cares. Literally no one cares. You're not changing anything. You don't change the mind of the person you're engaging with in bad faith. Like, if someone just insults me and takes a bunch of bad faith, they're not changing my mind. I recognize that they didn't hear anything I said and didn't understand any of my arguments. What the fuck are you even accomplishing? Nothing. My man, you have achieved nothing. Why not just sit down, put your ego aside, and just have a normal conversation? Like a human. Ask questions. Operate in good faith. Give the benefit of the doubt. You have nothing to lose. You only have things to gain. New knowledge, new ideas, new understandings, new acquaintances. If you befriend someone you engage with online, why not? Seriously, why not? Why not just actually try to hear someone out that you don't instantly understand and instantly agree with 100%? Why? Why do something different? Because dunking on people is fun? Because it feels good to shit on people and ignore all they have to say and just, like, shit on, like, talk about, oh, these people have bad takes, haha. Are those motivations really worth it? Think about every time you on the internet, you've been annoyed by some guy who did not listen to your legitimate arguments, who just used fallacies and ignored half your points and made up straw mans of your actual positions and was just an obnoxious prick the whole time. Think about how annoying that is, right? I know that you felt it. Be the better person. Be the change. Okay? Don't do that shit to other people. Rise above that base urge to reject all outside ideas, the base urge to just spit on anything that didn't come from an opinion you already have. Stop pretending like the internet is made up of debates that you have to somehow win on objective matters. That's not a thing. I don't see that many licensed judges handing out trophies running around on Twitter. And start looking at it as a bed of potential conversations that it actually is. What is a piece of internet content? What is a video someone makes on YouTube, for instance? Well, it is the product of what someone thinks and feels. Media, by definition, is a form of communication, and they are communicating what they think and how they feel. If they pretend otherwise, they're wrong. If you pretend otherwise, you're wrong. Imagine you have a close friend, like a good friend you've known for a long time. You like something new, he hates it, or vice versa, it doesn't matter. Anytime you listen to an opinion you don't relate to or agree with, imagine it's your good friend saying these things. It's just his video on his or her thoughts or feelings, man. He's just explaining, oh, well, I didn't really like that thing. I mean, and here's why. Just have a normal conversation about it, you fucking weirdos. Would you really just immediately say, oh, fuck you, you're wrong. All your statements are objectively false. You have no idea what you're talking about. What a joke. You can counter arguments using empathy instead of dismissal. If someone says something, it's probably because on some level it is how they think and how they feel. You can't say that they're wrong for the fact that they think and feel things. You can't deny the path in their minds that led them to these thoughts and feelings, but maybe you can empathize with them, even if they made like a logical error or something, or they missed this piece of evidence or data, or anything like that, If someone is simply mistaken, people can't help ignorance. You can't help what you don't know. If you've never been told something, if you've never learned something, why would you know it? Just tell them the thing that they don't know with empathy of their ignorance. Of the fact that, like, this is of the fact that there is a disconnect. Don't just assume they're ignorant simply because their opinion is different, obviously. No, you fucking try to understand them. You try to see where they're coming from so you can help see it in a better way. The only reason to listen to what someone else has to say is to try to learn something you don't already know, or to have a conversation with another human being. Those are the only reasons to communicate. If indeed you think there is a better way to see it. Again, do you really think you're going to, like, convince someone or do something helpful by just telling people that everything, oh, you're objectively wrong, oh, fuck you, oh, you fucking idiot? Do you think that person, they'll suddenly say, oh, I guess I'm wrong, thanks for letting me know? Do you really think that the world is going to be like a happier place because of your noble efforts. Basically, don't be an asshole, man. I assure you, the things you want to say are almost certainly subjective opinions. Your idea of what is a good or a bad argument is also subjective. Ethos, logos, pathos only pertain to issues that are fundamentally subjective, meaning issues that cannot be proven as fact one way or another, technically speaking. Have more confidence in your own opinion and the fact that you're allowed to have it, and stop being so fucking insecure about it, insisting that other people have to validate your opinion for you by having every reviewer on the planet, every fucking writer agree with you. Like, stop! Oh my fucking god, stop, please, I fucking beg of you. The fact that I have to make this video at all is one of the most depressing and painful experiences I've undergone in recent memory. I understood subjectivity and objectivity by the time I was in the fucking first grade. The world should not be like this. I'm also so sick of having to explain what the purpose of my content is. Like, people have all these weird-ass assumptions, like, oh, you're talking about this must be your purpose, and therefore you must be failing at that purpose. That's the most illogical circular reasoning ever. Like, maybe the purpose of my video is just to talk about how I think and how I feel. Like any video. Do you ever think about that? For the record, I personally only try to make videos when I feel that I have some novel points to make. Usually, I use one topic as an excuse to talk about something broader. Like recently, I used a Joseph Anderson video as an example to talk about a broad topic that doesn't strictly pertain to the Joseph Anderson video, which was talking about how we exploring how we value media consumption after our first exposure to it. Again, this is simply an opinion. It's not even a strong opinion. It's just mostly just me talking about a subject. I think the subject is interesting. I'm not drawing a strict conclusion on it one way or another, but because people can't comprehend that, because people don't pay attention to anything they watch, some people just assumed that the purpose of my video was to make an objective statement about how Joseph Anderson's video was somehow bad. Like I was attacking his video, which is to me one of the most incompetent, ignorant takeaways I could imagine a human being getting out of that video. People just get defensive about shit for no reason. It tends to apply more to criticism than praise, but it can happen with praise. Someone expressing a strong positive opinion of something, they aren't as likely to get these kind of idiotic reactions as someone making a strong negative opinion of something. Except in special circumstances. You know, people are totally fine with the concept of a review if it only exists to tell them what they already believe in their little social media echo chamber, right? But when they see a review that is critical of something now all of a sudden the very concept of a review is bad. Like if I voice my opinion in a video and you hold a different opinion, I'm not fighting you. There's no debate. I'm not telling you you're wrong. I never was. There are zero contradictions. I made zero objective claims. Why would you start making contradictions when there are none? Nothing is a debate. There's no such thing as winning a fucking conversation. Trying to tackle individual viewpoints with no supervision will just lead you to relying on bad faith approaches and logical fallacies because you don't have a judge, a professionally trained judge to tell you when you're making a bad faith argument. You just start interpreting everything you hear from someone you think you disagree with in the worst possible way, ignoring the faults of your own arguments and missing the bigger picture. Do you like it when dumb assholes on the internet do that shit to you? Do you enjoy it? Do you like when other people give you absolutely no benefit of the doubt and just tell you you're wrong off of baseless assumptions over totally subjective topics? Do you enjoy that? Do you enjoy when it seems like someone's entire goal is simply to just prove you wrong, quote unquote, and they have no interest whatsoever in having a real conversation? Instead, why not do your part, your fair share, in making the internet a less moronic place, and don't do that shit yourself? Here, I'll end this video off with some of my favorite relatable clips from an old Digibro video.
I am going to go through all of the comments on my Sword Art Online, or at least most of them, all the ones I can think of, all the ones that make me mad, we'll say, on my Sword Art Online 2 Part 1 video, which has unbelievable amounts of comments, most of which are really, really stupid. I'm going to read through them. I'm going to respond to as many of them as I can. Ordinarily, I don't respond to these comments because I don't want to look like a dick. And I guess I'm a huge puss. What do you think, Jesse? Do you?
Well, the purpose of this video is not to look like a dick or to sound bitter, but to say, fuck you, all of you.
Okay, here's the next one. You gave Log Horizon a goddamn 10 and gave Ergo Proxy and other great anime a low review. Seems you're biased and only review based on your personal tastes. Fucking crap. No fucking shit. All reviews are based on personal taste. Anyone who says otherwise is a liar pushing their agenda. Oh, here's my favorite. This is the one that made me start doing this. Dude, this isn't your fucking diary to write your opinions. I don't give half a fuck if you disliking SAO, but seriously, if you are going to give your opinion about something, do it in a fucking diary, in a chat group with your friends, but YouTube is a place to watch free videos, not to listen to fucking opinions all day.
Yeah, that was the one that I said needed to be framed and hung in a museum somewhere.
It's fucking amazing. I honestly don't really know how to respond to this, so I guess I'll just state the obvious. Like, I don't know about you, but almost all the YouTube videos I watch are opinion pieces. I don't know where you're coming from, and you sound literally insane. What else should I say to this fucker?
You are a fuckboy, and you have AIDS.
You are a fuckboy, and you have AIDS. I'm not worried about the repercussions of this guy. His like, he makes no sense. All right. Well, everyone has their own opinion, so I'll respect your opinion 100%. Well, as long as you respect it, that's fine. Okay. Giving SAO a 1 out of 10 is really BS if I say so, mainly because art and animation makes mostly like 20 to 30% of people's rating, and the art and animation of SAO is really good, so it should have been at least 2 out of 10. Plus, the story was pretty decent. Having to fight your way and beat a MMO to make it back to the really work is good, but really beating an MMO, that's like asking a baby to carry lifts. So in total, I think SAO should have been at least a 2.5 out of 10. I would have given it a 2 out of 10 were it not for the second arc, which I explained in the video, where I give a whole fucking speech about why I gave it a 1 out of 10, because I would have given it a 3 if not for the second fucking arc. I explained that. God damn. Of this video. That's another thing. Like, the thing that bothers me so much about a lot of these comments is that I state in the video what the point of the video is. I say at the very beginning, it's not objective, it's not a critique, I'm just here to rag on the show because I like ragging on it. I say that in the video, and then people are like, what's the point of this video? I said what the point of the video was! Can you... Jesse, when you make a video and people don't understand it, it's usually because the video is smart and nuanced, and your videos, or your audience can't understand it, right?
Right, and I get what you're saying. Like, Sword Art Online is not meant to be a smart video.
I write all of my videos, for the most part. I mean, when I talk about a show like Serial Experiments Lain, the only people who are going to care about it are going to be people who can think deeply, and they're going to get it. But I write a lot of my videos to appeal to the lowest common denominator, because that's who I think is going to watch my videos, and it comes naturally to me. I'm not saying that, like, I tool my videos to appeal to only a certain audience. The way I write is very easy to understand. That's just how I write. But I state outright what the point of the video is, and people still don't get it. I don't understand that. I don't understand being that stupid. I don't get it. You'd have to literally not listen to anything I say for the first 5 minutes of the video. You have to not understand it.
I don't think people do watch even like half the video.
Really, I love this anime, and I agree with some of this guy's points, and I can't help but... That's all my favorite comments on this, by the way, are that. I love this anime, but I agree with this guy's points. Those are my favorite comments. Because, like, those are the people who are fucking smart enough to realize that I'm ragging on the show because it's funny and because my points are legit. Like, I'm not saying you can't like Sword Art Online. I'm just saying that this stuff is in the show, you know? This guy apparently only cares about the action in animes. I like it as well. But what's the point? There are no characters to hate or enjoy. Geez, I sat through it and enjoyed it oddly enough and still watch it. I mostly talked about story, not action. So I don't know where you're coming from.
That's one of those, like, you hurt his feelings by not liking what he likes. So he has to come up with this, like, false equivalency and do these mental gymnastics to like rationalize what your position is. You must not like characters. He's gay. You.
Jesse, may I stress something? We've been recording for 40 minutes. 40 minutes. Do you see where it says 5 days ago on this comment? This is the past 5 days. That's how frequently I get stupid comments on my Sword Art Online 2 video. It's the only video anyone comments on my fucking channel. That's the only reason I don't want to do more of these. Like, I loved making part 1 of the Sword Art Online 2 video. It was super fun. It seemed like it was like the video was cool, and at first everyone liked it. And then every fucking day I have to get 10 fucking retarded comments about how fuck these idiots who hate the video.
Because the first day is your subscribers, and after that, you're going to get the 12-year-olds who just type in, I want to see Sword Art Online stuff.
And
because I like it.
I don't want to close the comments, because like some of the early stuff is good. Some people like point out like some people point out flaws in the video that are actually legitimate. And some people talk about stuff that they love from the video. I don't want to close the comments, but like it's exhausting to get this every day. And it's only on part 1. Part 2 came out and I had to upload it to fucking Dailymotion. And I put the video on YouTube, like linking to Dailymotion. Every comment has been positive. All of them. 0 negative comments. Just because the extra effort to go to Dailymotion has weeded out all of the fucking idiots. No one left negative comments on part 2. It only has 8,000 views on Dailymotion, whereas part 1 has 60,000 views. So it's not making me as much money, it's not making me as much credit, but whereas this video has 1/3 dislikes and 1 million retarded comments, I would prefer getting no views to getting this bullshit.
Dailymotion even have like an
whatever. Oh, here we go. This looks retarded, and there's no reply button. Like you could make anime yourself. You just keep your opinion to yourself, mate. No need to be preaching crap all over about SAO. Downvote, delete. Fuck you. I hate you. Get
what
off
do these
my
people
dick.
think the purpose of the internet? Like, why did...
I don't know. I really don't. Like, the idea that people click on a video that says, like, that it's a review and states in the beginning that and then like criticizes the entire concept of a review, I don't get that, dude.
Well, this guy down here's explaining what a review is.
All right. Oh yeah, right here. Oh, we'll get to that. All right, here's one that's gonna this is immediately has pissed me off, Jesse. Can you tell why? I'm sure you can.
Because he doesn't know the fuck. He doesn't know the difference between. He doesn't know that a review is a fucking criticism.
All right. Let's do this. Holy fuck. Austin Booth. Your video isn't a review, it's a criticism. The difference is a review will weigh out, by the way, W-A-Y out, the pros and cons to output a number that is fitting to that series. So apparently reviews have to have a number. However, the amount of bashing would have put Sword Art Online on a 0 in a review. Instead, you gave it a 1. I find this a little odd. You have some valid points, however, they can easily be dissolved. Also, I find some of the wording used in the video to be restrictive. You say you watched the whole series, but you hated it. You like the character design and love interest, but hate the characters themselves. It makes it look like bashing for the sake of bashing. To be perfectly clear, your tone and wording doesn't match your opinion of the series. You seem to be pretending to hate the series and secretly like it. From what I can tell, you seem to be an anime about multiple games. 2 MMORPGs and 1 FPS. One is action-based adventure, another is travel-based adventure, and the last is shoot-'em-up game. If none of these genres interest you, why click on the link? If you were to say the hype, I would call you a sheep in a lion's skin. Anyways, that is my criticism, my opinion, in all caps.
Wait, a sheep in a lion's skin? That's not a fucking expression. So I think the crux of this is that because you gave it a 1 instead of a 0, it means that your wording doesn't match your opinion.
I don't know what to fuck. I don't know where to begin with this guy. Like, this is the kind of comment where, like, I feel like I have to break down the entire meaning of the word review to even get to this guy.
Just type Anta Baka.
Not to be rude, but I don't think you realize how good this anime is. You probably don't understand it, but please keep your own thoughts to yourself.
Well, he elucidated.
Oh, he doesn't have
right?
fucking comments. Downvote and fucking remove. Fuck you. I was gonna say you're being incredibly rude, but he fucking didn't let me reply like a fucking asshole. Double rude. Fuck you, assholes. God, anyone who leaves a criticism and doesn't have replies enabled, that is the rudest thing possible. How do you not get that? Alright, Crimson Dragneel, you are fighting over simple little things like likes and dislikes. Why? Just why? I agree the guy should have made it a little more obvious that it was his opinion and he wasn't trying. How could I make it more obvious? I said it at the fucking beginning of the fucking video! And he is free to choose whatever he wants. This guy agrees with me, but he pissed me off. I hate when people do that. God damn it. Shit, I spit all over my monitor. Wait, this guy rated No Game No Life over Aggro Proxy? No wonder he gave SAO1 a 1. He's a fucking retard. Anyway, he does have valid points, but they are certainly not enough to validate a rating of 1. SAO isn't a great show, some might say it's not even good, but a 1? Are you fucking kidding me? There are shows that fundamentally broken, and they have no entertainment value whatsoever. This guy gets SAO a 1. Also, he said he watched 538 anime series or something like that, but then he dropped a series. Counter shows up to number 510. This video is entertaining, but he has no credibility whatsoever as a reviewer. You know what?
My dick.
What do I say to this guy other than fuck you?
Say my dick.
I'm just gonna delete it. I can't. Have you ever been like when you have like that anger that you can't process thought? Like you have like a lot of things to say, but they all just mold into fuck. That's how I felt.
My whole life.
But that's the thing, like I was saying on the pub crawl, if I lose these people as subs, I don't care because these people are idiots. Like anyone who's smart will know that like, oh, he's being sensible because he's getting attacked, you know? No fucking shit, all reviews are based on personal taste. Anyone says otherwise is a liar pushing their agenda. I said at the start of the video
I said he at the start.
I'll correct it when I go back, that it was a biased review, so you should have known already. That's it. The first fucking lines in this video are, this is not a fair and balanced review of Sword Art Online 2, and you'll find nothing like that on my channel. That's the first line in the video. There's gonna be a lot of that. I might as well copy that, like put it on my, I'm gonna put this in a note document because I'm gonna need it again. He's right. But then he admits to liking SAO sort of as a guilty pleasure. I'm not gonna comment to this guy because whatever, he makes a good enough point, but I hate guilty pleasures as a term. Don't feel guilty about the things you like. Just like it. Whatever.